Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Well, welcome to Performance Boost 30. It's good to have each one of you joining us for today's program. I'm Dr. David DeRose, and we're jumping into the second week of the program if you've been going along with the program in real time. Just as far as logistics, are any of you getting any echo as far as the, you are, okay. Let me see if we can address that for you. Is that any better? Not really, huh?
I see two of you.
You see two of me.
One of
In
you.
two different screens?
Yeah.
Yeah. That will be the case there. Let me see if we can address something here. Is that better? Is that sounding cleaner?
Yes, I still see two of you.
Yeah, you'll see two of me.
Okay.
As long as you don't mind seeing double. Okay, let's try that again. Welcome to Performance Boost 30. I'm Dr. David DeRose. This is week 2 of the program. If you're going along on the schedule that you've been receiving the emails, we are really going to try to help you be as successful as possible, and that's what the goal of tonight's program is. Whether you're watching it in real time or whether you're watching a video of this live presentation. So I want to direct your attention to the screen. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you because we've got some, I think, some very helpful things lined up for you this evening. Been good to see so many joining us as far as the daily sessions. And regardless of how many join us for tonight's live session, we are at week 2 right now. So week 2 in the Performance Boost 30 program. And what to me is so exciting about the program is really all of you, because what makes this program the most successful is when we have folks who are really partnering with others going through the material. If you've been watching the daily videos, day 5 was on Connect. And in this session tonight, I will be connecting with you virtually, but some of you in real time, because this is a live presentation. So feel free, as we give opportunity for you to jump on to share your questions, to share your concerns. We'll get to that a little bit later in the program. But as we lay the foundation, I really want to encourage each of you to be going through the program with someone else. And if you didn't catch what that challenge was all about, really the key is saying, yes, I can get a lot out of this program on my own. I don't need to communicate with anyone else. I've heard from other people, even in our first weekly session, individuals who went through this content and made dramatic improvement. But what we found over the years is if you connect with other people, that dramatically increases your likelihood of success. So what I try to encourage folks to do is, if you're not already watching this video with someone else, then let someone know about it. Have them go through this content, and then at least on a weekly basis, just get together with someone and share your success, share your challenges. So with that perspective, we want to move forward in tonight's program. And I want to draw your attention to what's should be appearing on your screen. And that is that the week number 2 handout. The week number 2 handout is your roadmap for today's program. And so I'm going to walk you through the handout in today's presentation. If you're watching live, don't get too distracted trying to get the handout. If you can kind of multitask, that's fine. But don't get too distressed about that. We can help you get connected with the handout later. But I'm going to walk you through some ways to do that right now. If you're just joining us and you don't have the handout in hand, you say, oh, well, you're going to go through this. Let me make sure I have a way to access the handout. Well, let me help you do that at this minute. So if you received an invitation for this very program, right now, this week number 2 program, kind of introducing week number 2, then simply open up that email. So as I'm speaking right now, you can just go to your emails and find something that was probably sent yesterday, and it had a headline like tomorrow night. Some of you may have gotten something that said tonight, and it's an email. And if you open up that email, open up that communication, what you're going to do is scroll down through that communication until you see the handout section. And you'll see an image of tonight's handout. And then you'll see a pretty obvious button that says download now. You don't need me to tell you what to do with that button if you want the handout. That's right. Simply click the button and then you can access the handout. If you didn't get an email announcing tonight's program, then there's another way that you can access the handout. And that's by simply open any of the Performance Boost 30 emails that you've been getting since you signed up for the program. So what you see illustrated here, you'll see this individual here, day 1 video. This is the very first video. And if you look down there in the image, if you see in the graphic there, there's a large circle. That person got this email on day 1 for them. So if you're in that email, or day 2 or day 3, whichever one you happen to open up, then just scroll down in that video. If you get to the very bottom, let me call your attention to this first, and then I'll share with you how you can get the handout if it's not already obvious looking at this screen. At the very bottom, you'll see something that says have questions, and it says just reply to this email. You'll see actually a link there. If you don't have that link, or you're frustrated tonight because you haven't gotten anything, this is how you get a hold of us. connect@timelesshealinginsights.org. connect@timelesshealinginsights.org. So you can either click on that, you can type that in, and I wish I could tell you we've got 100 people just waiting in real time to quickly reply to your every question. We do have a small team, but we will try to get to your questions as soon as we can. So that's the way to reach out to us. I know we've been interacting with some of you already, but I think I noticed some of you have reached out and haven't heard from anyone on our team yet. So just be patient with that. But remember, we're talking about how to access the handout. And if you're looking at the graphic here, you're probably seeing just right above the area that I just highlighted, something that says sign in under log in to member portal or log into your member portal. So that's what you would do. You'd log into that member portal. This is just really helpful to know if you haven't been to the member portal. This is just really a great resource. So if you click on that link, the member portal link, what will happen is you'll be brought to the member portal page. And here's DJ, who signed into the program. Looks like at the time they opened this member portal, they were on day 6. So DJ had gotten 6 emails, and those 6 emails basically all had links to daily videos. But let's just say that DJ hadn't watched any of the videos. That's not what it's designed to be. This program, you're supposed to watch the daily videos. But let me just pause on that note, because remember, what I've shared with you is we're rolling this program out over the summer of 2023. So if you're watching this in real time, or you're picking it up sometime in the summer of 2023, we're rolling this out over the course of the summer. So although we're doing some weekly sessions right off the bat, we're not going to meet every week. So just be attentive to that. If you're watching it after the fact, this is July 1 of 2023 when we're recording this program. But if you're watching it later in July, August, yeah, there's probably going to be weekly videos that go along with your progress in the program. But I will give you some more details about that. Just if you're taking notes, we do have another live session scheduled for next week, which is July 8th. And if you're watching this recording, well, that video should be available for you as well. So anyway, back to how to get the handout from the member portal page. So you're there. The first thing you see is it's tracking your progress. It doesn't actually track which videos you watched. Is my understanding how the portal is set up, is which ones you've received. So if you then scroll down on the member portal page, and I know this may not be projecting all that well for you, but you can use this to access videos that you missed. For example, you see there kind of in the central portion of the right-hand side of the screen that we're projecting right now, you see there, you got it, what? You see Performance Boost 30 program launch. So if you did not actually have a chance to go through that program launch and watch last week's video, then you can pick it up in the member portal. If you look below that, you will see day 1, day 2, all the videos that have been released. So the videos are released as you go through the program. So DJ is on day 6, so he or she is going to have access to days 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means you can rewatch any video that you saw in the past. Maybe you kind of were in a hurry, you didn't pay attention that well. Maybe you just really liked it. Maybe you're using it to go to sleep at night. You've heard day 1 5 times now, and it's helping you fall asleep because it's familiar, whatever. So you can re-access the videos there. And then you'll notice toward the top, you see an area for handouts. So that's a place where you can download the handouts as well. Again, don't get frustrated if you're watching this in real time and can't get things. Just reach out to us at the Connect link or talk with us as we open things up a little bit later in the program. So with that background, you know how to track down the handouts. Let's tell you what the handout looks like to make sure this is the right handout. This is participant handout for session number 2 of Performance Boost 30. That's what we're going to be going through a little bit later tonight. So I wanted to give you some heads up if some of you are good at multitasking and you want to be trying to track that down while I'm sharing with you actually some answers to questions that have already been raised as we've been going through the program together. So with that in mind, let's go to some general program that you have brought to our attention. What kind of things about the program in general, and then we'll look at some specific things. So this is probably the most common question that I hear when I'm speaking about the Methuselah factor or related to it, in this case, Performance Boost 30. Someone will ask, will my, whatever, diabetes, heart disease, arthritis be helped by Performance Boost 30? And the reason I use the example of arthritis is that is exactly one that I think we've heard from two of you going through the program right now who asked specifically about arthritis, different questions about arthritis. Will it be helped by Performance Boost 30? And I want to tell you the best place to find kind of comprehensive answers to some of these common diseases, common questions, is in this link that we're projecting right now. It's the link for the missing link videos. So you probably already got just something you could easily click on for these. When you first signed up for the program, you can look at your original email. But if that's hard to put your hands on, here's the actual link. It's in the handout. So where you can take a screenshot and type in all those crazy letters. But I think the best is just to really access the handout, and you can just click right on this link for the missing link videos. If you did that right now in real time, here's what you would see. You would see a page that has this is the playlist for the missing link videos. There's a dozen of them. There's 12 missing link videos. And you can see there the title, The Missing Link, the Methuselah Factor series. This gives you the rationale for the Performance Boost 30 program. What kind of things can I expect? And you can see just the first four are projecting in this screen that I have up there for you. There's an overview of the Methuselah Factor. Some of you already may have watched that because I think we sent that link to you at the beginning of the program. Then there's one on arthritis, enhanced performance, especially physical performance in that video, the missing link to lowering blood pressure. So because I use the example of arthritis, I'm actually going to, I want to show you just a short segment from that this evening. And I'm just going to navigate there momentarily for you. Let's see if we can do this somewhat seamlessly for you. So if you were to watch this entire video, the video actually is, if I'm not mistaken, about 8 minutes. We're not going to show you that whole video because you can watch that, but I just want to give you an idea of what to expect. So I've kind of jumped into it. What is this? About 2 minutes into about an 8-minute video. So let me just bring this back a little bit there, and let's see if we can take a listen here. This is a story that I think you'll find especially helpful if you have concerns about, you guessed it, arthritis.
As a real-life story. Some years ago, a guest on my radio show, Dr. Edgar Viemeister, an orthopedic surgeon, shared an amazing story. We'll call the fellow Bob. Bob was going in for a hip replacement. He had severe hip arthritis. But while he was being prepared for the surgery, he was under anesthesia, something terrible happened. He had a heart attack. Now, if you've had a heart attack, that might not sound all that terrible, but my whole point is, if you're expecting a hip replacement, you don't expect to wake up in the heart intensive care unit, the coronary care unit, and being told that you just had a heart attack and you didn't get the hip replacement. What's so amazing, though, about Bob's story is that heart attack motivated him to change his lifestyle. He got on a lifestyle that, although he probably hadn't heard the term, was designed to improve his Methuselah factor or improve hemorrheology. After 6 months, his orthopedic surgeon said, well, I think we can do your hip replacement surgery. But Bob had a shocking response. He said, I don't think I need that surgery. My hip is feeling much better. What the suggestion in Bob's story is that his changes in this missing link, the improvement of blood fluidity, had actually gone a long way to helping with his hip arthritis.
So I project that for you just to give you a feel for what those missing link videos are like. So we walk you through a number of conditions. And as you gathered, I hope, from that illustration, we do find people with arthritic symptoms as they follow the Methuselah Factor program, the Performance Boost 30 program, that they do. A number of people report improvement in arthritic symptoms. So we're going to go back to the handout. I'm going to try to walk you through that at this point. And I think we may have had a few other general questions. Let me just check. So I'm going to bring up the PowerPoints that I've made to accompany the handout for you. So I'm just going to navigate back there and share that screen with you again. Okay, yeah, so I did want to mention this for you, and that is some other program logistics. Other program logistics. So we really want to encourage you to keep in touch with your healthcare providers. And this is really important because as we've spoken, there's a lot of things that you're doing in this program that really can make a dramatic difference when it comes to your medications. So really important concept, and that is if especially you have diabetes or high blood pressure, things that you're taking medication for, monitor those values because you may find that you need to make some changes in those medications, but of course, we'd want you to do that in conjunction with your healthcare providers. And I tell you, this ties in with our second day challenge, which was measure, measure, measure. Just a reminder, we want you to be making frequent measurements of those vital components, things that will give you feedback on how you're doing. So with that in mind, I want to go ahead next to talk about some questions that we've had come up as far as what to measure and how frequently. One of them that often is on people's radar screen is weight. We have a lot of people who go through Performance Boost 30 and related curricula who are trying to trim down a bit. And the question always comes up, well, how often should I weigh myself? Typically, the rule of thumb we use in weight loss programs is once a week. The main caveat I usually give people is, especially for younger women during their reproductive years, just remember something that you're probably well aware of, and that is in the latter half of your cycle, you're going to tend to accumulate more water weight. So if you started right about mid-cycle on this program, well, even if your weight didn't change at all, it's likely to go up a few pounds. So just kind of keep some of those things in mind as you're going through the program. So don't be ruled by the scale, but if you're trying to make some progress on the weight front, definitely weighing once a week would be appropriate. When it comes to blood sugar, this is an interesting one. A lot of folks, ask, are there special times that I should be especially mindful of my blood sugar? And one of the things that I tell people is there's a common time that people do not measure their blood sugar that is a really critical time to measure it, and that is actually after meals. So measuring your blood sugar 2 hours after a meal is a very important time to check because it gives you a window on how well your blood sugar is actually doing in response to specific foods. And as we talk about different dietary strategies to help with your blood sugar, one of the things that can give you feedback is just what your sugars are doing in response to a given meal. I share stories often with people where someone will eat a meal that they think is healthy. Maybe someone with diabetes says, hey, I'm just going to eat simple plant foods. I'm going to just have some carrots and watermelon and some corn on the cob. Well, actually, most all those things do a pretty good job at raising blood sugar. Your sugar may go up really high, may go up to 300 from 120 before the meal of just those simple plant foods. And we say, well, what does that mean? Well, that means the next time you have a meal, you need to add some things that tend to modify or modulate the blood sugar. One of the things that we've talked about in the first week are beans. So maybe less of the corn on the cob, less of the carrots, more of the beans. and you get the picture. So green leafy vegetables also excellent as far as not having any significant tendency to raise blood sugar. So let's go back to walking through this handout with you. And what I want to do at this point is just bring you to the overview material, kind of the first material you see in the handout. So if you've got the handout in front of you, it looks something like this. And that first section that's not fully reproduced in this graphic is a device there to help you connect as a group. So what we're going to do tonight in real time is try to give you some of that group support after we finish some of this didactic content here. But group support cannot be overestimated, okay? It's often underestimated. And what we encourage folks to do, one of the things we encourage you to do, and we'll do this tonight, is talk about the week that's passed. What kind of things have you accomplished? What kind of challenges have you had? And kind of go from there. For example, let's say one of you said, I just don't know what to do for exercise in the part of the country I live in. And we can, as a group, say, well, you know, where do you live? What kind of problems are you having? And you say, well, it's been 120 out here, and I work nights, and so it's during the day, it'd be the only time I could exercise, and it's too hot. You get the picture. So we can kind of walk through some of those real life scenarios. Now, it's ideal to do this program with a group that you are meeting with in person. We know that's not always possible, but if you have an interest in doing that or running this program at a later date and inviting people in your community, your neighborhood, to your house, to a community center, to a faith community, place of worship, let us know, because we can help you facilitate that. So just reach out to us. And we do have groups throughout the country doing in-person programming using our free resources. So the other thing we encourage you to at least look at as the week is beginning. So this is week 2. So this is the week ahead. Here's some of the things that you'll be learning about, things that will be encouraging you, giving you information about everything from sodium intake to other forms of exercise, dietary practices. We've got a section on sleeping right, water treatments externally, as well as internal water use. And then some of you may have noticed the pattern. That is, every 7th day, we are having kind of a rest and refresh emphasis, and we'll introduce a concept of how spirituality can help you in that practice. And we're not speaking to any one religious group or non-religious group. Spirituality is something that characterizes all of us, and we'll share why I make such a statement as we get to day 14. Well, let's look now at some questions that have come up during the first week, some things that have come through to us at the connect@timelesshealinginsights.org website. And we get a lot of discussion about day 1. Here's a couple of communications that we received this week. Here's one, and we've changed the name, so don't worry, we're not going to reveal any of your secrets, maybe even some details that were shared. But hello, I'm unable to donate blood due to being on warfarin. That's a common blood thinner. Maybe lab work can count, as they will take about 5 vials on my next visit. Well, I'm glad that Harriet had a good sense of humor. This is actually kind of an interesting comment, though, that she makes, because it's true some people can't donate blood. This is a comprehensive program. So whether you can donate blood or not, the success of your Performance Boost 30 program is not based on that. But let me take one other comment, communication on this topic, then I'll kind of answer them together. So communication number 2, good evening, Dr. DeRose. I cannot donate blood because, number 1, I had hepatitis B as a young man, and number 2, I weigh less than 110 pounds now. Thank you, Richard Jonas. So let's look at both these issues, and probably the best way to describe it is simply with this slide here. We thank these individuals for reaching out. We kind of combined their responses in this one kind of response that we put into your handout. And the point that I make here is the terminology we use when it comes to blood donation is deferral. We don't say that someone is unable to donate blood or they can never donate blood. And the reason for that is actually pretty simple, really. And that is that the criteria for blood donation change over time, and they can be different from one blood bank to another. So just an important point to make. You may have been deferred, whether they use that term or not, 10 years ago. You may be able to donate today. So this is why, if you notice how this relates to the program, is you may have one of these criteria that is not met. And so you can see maybe you're not in good health right now, maybe you're not feeling well, maybe you're 14. Your blood bank may take blood younger. I kind of doubt it. But again, there's variance throughout the country. I've worked with different blood banks throughout the country, and they have different criteria. Not necessarily in some major areas, but there's often nuances that could defer you from donating in one place and not in another. There are some things that are general causes for exclusion and at least deferral at present. And you can see here a list of some of the prescription blood thinners. Now, a lot of people hear blood thinner and they say, oh, I had a stent, I'm on Plavix, clopidogrel is the generic, or I'm on aspirin. No, you're able to donate whole blood. You can donate whole blood if you're on aspirin or Plavix, but it's the stronger blood thinners, the warfarins, the heparins, Eliquis, Xarelto, things like that, that you are not, you'll be deferred. And then if you come off that medicine, if the doctor takes you off it, you should never stop those things on your own. But if the doctor stops you, and then there's a washout period, usually from 2 to 7 days, and then you can donate. Hepatitis B and C, I think, to my knowledge, everyone will deny you from donating. So deferral maybe is too soft a word, but we still like that word, deferral, because maybe something will change down the road. So that's kind of the message we like to give. So here's the practical application of all this. So for day one, the day one challenge is all you have to do is call the blood bank, is make that connection, and just call the bank and make sure you know where the blood bank is. If you've checked online, you say, I can't donate at my local blood bank, then you've met the criteria for day one. And if you're tracking this, and this is what we're encouraging you to do, hopefully you all have this checklist, this figure 15. You can get it in last week's handout if you didn't download it already. And basically, if you see there that first column, call a local blood bank, I've just blown it up for you in this next graphic. And what you'll see here is this individual, because they called the blood bank, whether they've donated or not, whether they can or whether they can't, whether you're just trying to get your courage up to donate, you just can mark all those boxes off for that first column. Okay. So let me take one other thing as far as the week that's behind us. And that is going to be projected right now. You see the list of the daily challenges throughout the week. But this is a particularly challenging day for many people, to be big on beans. And I've had many people over the years say, I can't eat beans, I don't like beans. Well, we want to give you some help in this program if you kind of ran into a roadblock on day 4. And what we've got in your handout, what we're projecting here, is the Bean Institute. Is a great place to visit. Lots of helpful recipes from the Bean Institute. But a surprising way to eat beans that I want to introduce you to, if you haven't had a chance to check this out, is by sprouting the beans. And some of you may have seen an interview I did with Steve Wohlberg some time ago, but I want to give you an opportunity to just see the opening clip from that video. We'll show you about 4 minutes, and because I think it's really an overlooked opportunity for really giving you some very practical help. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and try to share that with you. You've got the link in the handout if you have the handout, if you want to watch that whole presentation. But there's several ways I can share this. I think I'm going to do it this way. I think this is going to work the best. Okay, so now I got to make sure that you all can see it.
How would you like to be able to improve your health and save money? Sounds like a tall order, but it is possible. I'm Dr. David DeRose. We're going to be looking in this special video edition of American Indian and Alaska Native Living at the very important topic of a special way of growing your own food. My guest is Steve Wohlberg. Some fascinating material coming up in today's edition. We're speaking today about a topic that I believe is truly life-changing. We've seen a shift in every demographic, really, if you want me to be honest with you, recapturing some of the values of First Nation peoples, growing their own food, becoming more self-sufficient. So whether you're tuning in today as a Native American, whether you're a Native Alaskan, whether you are from some indigenous population or not, we're talking today about how you can be more self-sufficient, how you can grow some of your own food. And to help us on our journey is someone who, well, you may not associate with this topic. His name is Steve Wohlberg. Steve, it's great to have you with us on the show.
Yes, thank you, David. It's great to be with you as your guest. We've been together in the past. It's been a while, and here we are again. So thanks for having me back.
Now, Steve, I'm really excited about your current project. It's really one that, well, a lot of people that have known you over the years, like myself, are maybe a little bit surprised to hear about, because this isn't typically the role we think of Steve Wohlberg filling. But Steve, this is really exciting to me, and I know it is to many of my listeners. Tell us exactly what you're doing. It's, I know, all coming out under this umbrella of Sprouting with Steve. Help us to understand this project just a bit better.
Sure, yeah. You mentioned growing your own food, and we all know that growing your own food is very healthy, but a lot of people don't have land. They don't have an orchard. They live in apartments, or they have very little space, and they don't have time. And that's where sprouting comes in. I've been sprouting for over 40 years, and I've learned how to grow things in my kitchen, and it's very easy. And so I've dedicated part of my life to helping other people learn how to do this. It's healthy and it's fun.
Growing our own food is something that's been getting a lot of attention. And Steve, I just love what you're doing because you're speaking to people. They don't have to have the 5 to 10 acres. They don't even have to have a small garden in their backyard in the city. They can be in a high-rise apartment and they can do sprouting. Am I catching that picture correctly?
You are exactly right, David. And as you know, with the pandemic, like you said, supply chains can be disrupted. Sometimes it's even hard to get toilet paper. But especially food. And I've got right next door in my pantry here, I've got a big bag of lentils, just the seeds, which last for a long time. And they are super easy to grow. So like, for instance, here's a little jar. It took me about 2 days to grow this. If you can see this is full of lentil sprouts. The thing about growing sprouts is that you're eating live food that has no sprays, no chemicals, non-GMO. It's really easy to do. For those that don't know, a sprout is a little seed that begins to grow. And then when they get a little bit bigger, they turn into what's called microgreens. This is a tray of purple Rambo radish microgreens. So when they get bigger and start growing little leaves, and then you green them up through just putting them in the windowsill, you can grow beautiful things like this. It doesn't take long. I also have a big tray here of fava beans, which didn't take me very long to grow. So these are sprouts and these are microgreens. And once people know how to do it, it's just really, with certain seeds, it only takes seconds a day. Like I said, it took me 2 days to grow this, only seconds, just rinsing, pouring water in and pouring water out. And now I've got a whole big jar here of live food, which is going to give nutrition to every cell of my body, boost my immune system, help me fight cancer and a whole host of other diseases. So it's a wonderful thing. I've been doing it for 40 years. I'm almost 62. and I feel good.
Steve, I'm just telling you, as I'm looking at this, it really looks good. I mean, it looks like like I said, I'm ready to have a nice salad with these micro greens that you've made. It looks like I'm in the produce section of the food store, but I'm just in your kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, if that wasn't on your radar screen as a way to eat more beans, hopefully it is now. You can watch that whole video if you're interested in it using that link. So a few more things for you as far as walking through some things, questions and all that came up. We did throw some other materials in the handout that are designed to try to help you if you needed some motivation to eat more beans. So we've actually got some material in there, actually taken from our book, 30 Days to Natural Blood Pressure Control. This is a graphic showing you some foods that are rich in what we call ACE inhibitors. These are natural compounds that help lower your blood pressure. And you'll notice on there, a number of the things on the list are beans, chickpeas or garbanzo beans, mung beans, soybeans. So these beans have blood pressure lowering properties based on these compounds. Beans are also some of the richest foods when it comes to magnesium. So I put in your handout this full table. Just the first 7 are showing up here, but you can see several beans on this list. So beans are some of the best sources of magnesium. Magnesium has natural diabetes preventive properties, blood pressure lowering properties, can help to stabilize your heart rhythm. So a number of positive things about magnesium. So if you needed some reasons to sprout, and by the way, the lentil sprouts are really good if you've never tried them, and they're easy to do. Well, what's going to happen tonight and what's going to happen in your group if you're in a live setting is we want you to share your questions, share your successes with people in your group. You'll see these 7 items there, especially engage about those. And then as far as moving forward to next week, here's that schedule again, what you'll be looking at. If day 11 sounds especially daunting, we're encouraging you to sleep right and you have insomnia. We've put in this handout one of my favorite tables from our book, 30 Days to Natural Blood Pressure Control. Here's actually the first part of this multi-page handout. I think it's actually 3 pages in your handout, but goes through a number of things that can help you sleep better. So with that in mind, we're going to wind up this formal portion of this week's kind of interface video between the end of week 1 and the beginning of week 2. I want to encourage you, if you haven't already signed up for the program, that you do that. If you're meeting with a group of people locally, what I recommend you do is actually simply ask them. A lot of local groups will have their own login code, but if you don't have a local login code, just simply go to timelesshealinginsights.org/boost and you can join the dialogue. Well, at this point, we're here for those of you that are live to hear from you. And I see some of you have been engaging on the chat. So I appreciate you doing that. You can interact on the chat, or you're welcome to actually speak up. But let's talk through some of the questions you've brought to us. The first one said, I eat hummus quite a bit, and that is a bean source, correct? And someone responded, I think hummus would be considered a bean source. You are all correct. It is, because hummus is made from garbanzo beans and tahini. Tahini is actually sesame seeds, ground sesame seeds. So those are both very health-giving plant foods. So hummus is a great way to get your beans. So that's very good. So if someone didn't have that on your radar screen, or you've never tried hummus, it's really a very nice way to get your beans. So if we were to engage with those different daily challenges, any things that you've implemented this week that you've been encouraged with? Stacy, I see you raising your hand.
Well, I actually got derailed a little bit.
Did
So
you?
I
Okay.
figured I'd start off letting everybody know that, hey, it happens. But I started out okay, and I lost a pound, and I was focused. And then I went to Florida on Wednesday for a best friend's daughter's wedding. Got back Friday, and I was kind of derailed while I was there because I couldn't control when they ate. I went to a rehearsal dinner late and all this other stuff, but I tried to pick, really carefully what I was eating, but there was just some things I just couldn't totally do. And the exercise was very little, and it was also really hot and humid, and I have plantar fasciitis. So, but anyway, excuse me, I did take my cauliflower on the way to the airport, but I wasn't able to do anything beyond that once I was there. I mean, I wasn't completely off track, but a little bit more so than I would have liked to have been, because I was on vacation and I didn't have anything. It just wasn't my menu or my wedding or any of that. So, but I don't know. I mean, that's kind of hard sometimes when you do those kind of things. So.
Well, I mean, I love your story, not because, you got off track, but because you're here with us, and basically you're saying, listen, I'm on the program. Yeah, I had some, hit some rough spots, but I also hear you saying, Stacy, that some of the things you were still doing. So it is a 30-day program. We're doing something kind of novel as we're rolling this out over the summer of 2023. And we're not, it's kind of interesting. I've avoided, I mean, I've been doing health education programming for years. We've never done a series that I can remember over the summer, just because people are running, just like, the things that came up for you. And, we don't have as much engagement with this program online as we have with a lot of other programs. We kind of knew all that going into it, but we said, well, let's do it anyway. And let's let people, jump in. If someone's gone this week and they're not joining us for the live program, but they're back next week, great. And so what I mentioned to you, if you're taking notes, we're going ahead and going to have another live session a week from tonight. So it'll be July 8th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And what you're noticing is we're recording all these. We're actually doing some post-production work as well. So, try to clean up some things, some of the stuff that's a little glitchy with the live program. And what we'll do then is that will be available for anyone to jump on. And if you say, hey, I want to do the 30-day program, but I might be off the program for a week, I tell people just try to get in 30 days where you've done the program. So if you're gone for a week and you say, hey, I did days 1, 2, and 3, but then I was gone for a week, well, then pick up back at day 4. Don't say, oh, like I got to catch up on all these days, so I'm done in a month. So that's what I'm recommending. And again, we haven't done this before, so you kind of our test group for this, but we wanted to roll this out this summer, do something a little bit different. So let's take some of the other questions that came up. We have someone who wrote in. I won't necessarily mention your names. That way we might use some of these clips, but someone wrote in, I donated blood for the first time, and they didn't put a sad face. They put an exclamation point. Great experience. How often do you recommend donating? And then one of you has already downloaded the handout, and you see the Red Cross guidelines are every 56 days or up to 6 times a year. The rule of thumb I like to use is 4 times a year. So that's kind of the standard rule of thumb that I use with people. If you tend to be a bit more anemic, you may not be able to donate that frequently, but it really is something very positive. I mentioned to you too in the program and the more formal portion of the program that if you're interested in using this program as part of a group, so we have, for example, someone spoke to me from the Southeast not all that long ago. They said, we want to do performance boost in our community. There's a person who's a member of a faith community. They said, we want to offer this to our community and have the weekly sessions in our church. And basically what we're doing, we're going to end up with a half-hour video based on tonight's program that will be archived. And then they can show this half-hour video, the half-hour videos once a week in their church. And then they would have this discussion. Like this time that we're engaging in dialogue, they would do that in real time. And And so why I'm telling you this connection is because there's another faith community group in another part of the country that has been using our materials. And they got very excited about blood donation. And they've been working now very closely with the Red Cross, helping to sponsor blood drives and volunteering. Some people that were deferred, couldn't donate, they're actually helping run the blood drives, helping the Red Cross in some of these settings. Okay, so this one, we have, I have low iron counts sometimes. Is it still okay to donate blood? Yeah, this is the great thing about blood donation. They do I like to call it a mini physical when you go in to donate blood. So, they'll check your blood pressure, they'll check your hematocrit. That's the percentage of your blood that's made up of red blood cells. If the hematocrit is too low, if your iron is really low, you won't be able to make enough red cells. They'll check that. So if your hematocrit's too low, they'll say, no, we're sorry, your blood count is too low, and they won't take it. So it's not like if you're anemic or you have low iron, they're going to just keep taking your blood until you're in real trouble. If you didn't catch this in day one, whether you're reading through the book, The Methuselah Factor, or watching the videos, and just as a reminder, if you didn't hear my earlier presentation, if you have my book, The Methuselah Factor, that book goes through the same daily challenges that we're rolling out in the videos. And there's often a little bit more material in the book than we're able to cover in the videos. But there we talk about something very important when it comes to blood donation, because a lot of people are saying, well, why would this help? What good does it do? And it actually seems that unlike some of us, I'm speaking of myself, there was an era in U.S. history where it was commonly promoted in the media that if you want to have more energy, you need more iron. Well, there's now a lot of data suggesting that too much iron is bad, and one of the reasons that blood donation may be health-giving to the donor is because it's helping to keep your iron levels lower. Iron is actually a pro-oxidant. That means it can speed up some of these bad oxidation reactions in the body. So it's just very helpful to keep that in mind. Someone here has sent a question in. How do I find out if there is a performance boost program in my neighborhood? Rancho Gordo has great beans. They also have a bean club, which is more cost effective. Well, that's very exciting. Now, here's what I would say. Right now, we don't have a way for people to let us know if they're running a program. The group that I mentioned that was running our programs, I didn't even know they were doing it. And I ran into someone and they said, oh, we're using your programs. We're working with the Red Cross and all. So because all our resources are free, and you can just say, hey, we're just going to meet together. We're going to watch these videos. We do have something now where it's kind of a premium service. There is a small charge for it where we'll actually set up a community group with their own landing page. And then we can, track that. We don't have a group like that. I think there's like 10 or 12 communities that have joined us. It's just something new that we've rolled out recently. We can send you information about it. Or I think all you need to do is go timelesshealinginsights.org/community. So timelesshealinginsights.org/community. And that'll bring you to this page. It tells you how you can sign up. So you can be the advantage of this is you have your own landing page. So when you invite someone, they get added into a group that's just yours. See, right now, if you go to just the timelesshealinginsights.org webpage and someone says, oh, are there people in my community going through the program? We don't know, because someone may have your same exchange, same phone, area code, but they could live, 1,000 miles away. I've got an area code for Oklahoma. I don't live in Oklahoma anymore. So this is the only way right now we have to track or refer, and we don't have a community group in Rancho Gordo right now. But if you said, hey, I'm going to go to the Bean Club, tell them, hey, here's the program that encourages bean eating. Why don't we offer this once a week? And you can either, you don't have to tell me, you can just go through the program. But if you want your own landing page, you want to keep track of your own contacts in your community, then go to that community link on the website. Okay, have I gotten all of the questions that have come through online here? I see one of you is saying that you want to stay on this program for life. Well, that's encouraging. It's a good program to stay on for life. I would agree with that. Let's see. Okay. So as we're winding up, we like to keep these programs to about an hour. So, you know, unless any of you has a burning question, I'll give you a few final comments as we're winding up. And if something does quickly come to mind, well, feel free to throw that in the chat because I'm keeping an eye on that. Few final comments. So basically what we're trying to do is put together these handouts. If you had trouble accessing the handout, then feel free to reach out to me through that connect@timelesshealinginsights.org. I'm not the only one who monitors that, but we'll try to make sure you get a personal link to the handout if you didn't get that already, if you're having trouble with it. I think actually that member portal, I think the handout may not be up there yet for this week. So if you went there and got frustrated, that should be up though in a few days on the member portal. And we'll try to make sure that they have it up in advance next week. And then again, just kind of encourage you that, we love to have folks engaging with us. You folks have been a great help to come on and share your concerns. We do have one more here. I do strength training on Zoom through my local library. Others could check if this is offered in their community. I love that. That is really great. Thanks for sharing that. So yeah, there's a lot more things that are going virtual. So that's a really great idea. That was not on my radar screen. So Zoom through a local library. Okay, well, thank you for that. Okay, any other final comments or encouragements? Okay, well, I just want to thank you each for joining us this evening. So if you have friends that are going through the program or are interested, anyone can jump on at any time. That's the beauty of the program. And since we're spreading it out over the summer, you can say, hey, I'm going to encourage 5 friends to go on it, and then I'll take 5 days off so that we're all on the same schedule. But the beauty is, because it's online, you can go through this program with a person who's anywhere in the world. And it's pretty amazing thought that you can be going through the same program together. Well, I'd like to wind up with a word of prayer. Thank you for joining us. Let's thank the Lord for blessing us tonight. Father in heaven, thank you that we were able to join together and engage with practical things that can make a difference in our lives. Thank you for each one who is willing to join us tonight and share their story, share their experience. We pray that you'd bless them. Thank you for those who joined on YouTube, who were not able to interact. Continue to bless them on their journey as well. We thank you that we can trust you to guide us, for we ask it in the name of our loving Creator. Amen. Okay, have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.